sponsors, Micropass,
PH,
the Oregon,
and their official media partners as Sync.ph.
Green Giant FM. Lastly, we would like to say thanks to our studio partners, Reliance Digital Photography.
Thank you so much.
We will now proceed to the last series of our series segment of the Industrial Engineering Assembly 2019. Attention passengers, please make sure your seatbelts are locked. Flight 7641 is now resuming our venture. For our third and last prepared piece of thought, our captain for this is hosting Science Cell in Knowledge Channel, and recently the principal scientist of United Health Group Research and Development, or SABI Sherpa Asia Incorporated. She was a professional lecturer at the National Institute of Physics at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She worked as a data science consultant and a data scientist at Deal Broker Inc. and Smart Communications Incorporated, respectively. She used to be a postdoctoral research fellow at the Kennedy Institute of Cosmological Physics, University of Chicago. She finished her BS in Physics at the Ateneo de Manila University. She received her diploma in high energy physics from the Abdul Kalam International Center for Theoretical Physics in CSNSE. She gained her Doctor of Philosophy in Astrophysics at the Princeton University, New Jersey. Dr. Wickable is an educator, data scientist, Gawad Tagabdag Awardee, Champion Astronomy Achievement Student Awardee in the Department of Science and Technology, Merit Scholar. Arriving at ISMC 2019,
Dr. Rinabel Reyes.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, good. Wow, we're almost to full house. published a report for the Philippines, and the top five, in the top five emerging careers is the data scientist, the role that is highly sought after. So why this new field? So if you think about it, maybe for you guys, you grew up already that you have internet, right? So, but you can imagine close or you move to another video. But if you finish the video, then it knows that you were interested in the video enough to finish it. So all that will be logged and found, and that gives the app a pretty detailed idea of what your preferences and interests are, right? So it could be K-pop, it could be makeup, it could be sports, basketball. Your app knows more about you than maybe your mother now. Here on Spotify, they've actually created ads that are based on the insights. The one insight was there's a person who played the song Sorry 42 times on Valentine's Day. So what is the reason? So every like, every post, every share on apps, are turned into insights. So for example, on Facebook, your newsfeed, right, is different for everyone because, of course, you have different friends, but also even if you have the same friends, the friend's post may not appear on my newsfeed and will appear on your newsfeed, right? So why is that? The newsfeed is also personalized, curated by algorithms, the data science created based on your preferences, based on your likes, how you react, which post you comment on, which post you share. It will serve you or show you, prioritize and newsfeed similar posts or posts from the same people or pages because it wants to maximize. Ideally, right, you're maximizing, you're optimizing. So do you know what Facebook is optimizing for? So it does all these algorithms, all these clever things to what to maximize. You know? You can shout it out. No? It's a big room. Okay, so I'll just share think of the answer and see if it matches my answer. One answer is you want to maximize your time spent on the app. The time spent on the app, ano bang average yun? There are things like this, but I think it's crazy. It's like 2 hours a day, something like this, accumulated time on average. Of course, some people, people, way more than average. Some people, of course, less. But basically, they want to make that average higher so that more people will be on the app. And then, why? Because then you will see more ads, and then they will get revenue, they will earn money from the ads, from the companies that put their ads on Facebook. So that's their job. Also, of course, maximizing the time also means maximizing your enjoyment, right? Because the more you enjoy, the more time you spend. So that's why they prioritize the newsfeed so that you will also see the things that you want to see. Of course, and then this has implication. But we're not getting to that today, but do some thinking and research on that. What has implications on society? Like, for example, I only see one point of view, I don't see the other point of view, right? Because of this personalization. In any case, these companies and now more companies need engineers and scientists to come up with these clever algorithms. And so this has been called, data scientists has been called the sexiest job of the 21st century. And just so you see that this is growing and this is relatively new. Back in 2010, there was no mention of this term, but then it was coined in this article, the Harvard Business Review, and then it they analyze to minute detail where all goes, where the players stay. Right? We have the shot charts now. What's the percentage of, sorry, I pass it from, so that's my channel. So the percentage of a shot, even 30, depending on where he is on the court. And all of that is processed and analyzed and then fed back into coaching so that they tell the player, okay, you only shoot from these points in the court so that you get the highest number of, highest percentage efficiency and points. Okay, but also government agencies, non-profits, NGOs, and of course, actually, even before everyone was calling data science, in the research, in academia, people have been analyzing data, getting insight and knowledge about the world using these computational techniques. Okay, so my path is actually from academia, from science. So how did I get into data science field? So when I was in, I shared it, when I was in college, it's like you, I did physics, but at the time, 2005, I graduated, there was no data science yet, right? It was not invented yet. But my interest was actually in theoretical physics, and so I pursued graduate school and diploma program in high energy physics in Italy. So we studied the particles, the fundamental particles, and theories, particle physics theories. Then from there, I got interested in cosmology, and then I got into a PhD program. I applied to PhD program in the US, and I got into Princeton. So I did an astrophysics PhD, where we actually studied data from galaxies. So the data, I'll share a bit more about that, give you an idea. So galaxy surveys, we have telescopes that collect light from the galaxies and then we can study them. It turns out that observational astrophysics with a lot of data is kind of data science for astronomy. And then when I came back to the Philippines, I realized I can actually apply the same tools and techniques using observational astrophysics to this new field now for data science, for research, but also for business use cases. And that's how I became a data scientist. Also, I just declared myself a data scientist. So, yeah, but before I was in astronomy, the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, which are the galaxies. So every dot here is a galaxy. So we have million galaxies that we can, in their catalog, that we can use to study the structure of the universe. So this is the cosmic web. This looks like a web. There are voids and beyond. And then as part of my PhD research, I observed some galaxies using this telescope here. It's a 3.5 meter telescope in New Mexico. And then the telescope here is the Sloan Digital Sky Survey telescope that observe all these galaxies. It's already automated. This telescope is not automated, but it's can be remotely controlled. So you can be anywhere in the world with your internet connection. You can control the telescope. So I was at home at Princeton, and then I just upload the coordinates of the galaxy, and then they report there. And then you can do the observation. Of course, this is at night, so night shift. Astronomers are also on night shift. One of the PhD work in my PhD is actually to use data from these galaxies to test Einstein's theory of general relativity. And so here we have we measure the probable gravity of G. Oh, I might talk about physics, no? But anyway, this is the background that you can use a lot of data to test theories. For example, general relativity predicts the red band, and the actual measurements are the black circles. And so we can conclude that the chart, the circles, the measurements are apply these two things closer to Earth. So I'll just share a case study that I think you can also relate with because it has something to do with logistics, but maybe not the kind of like supply chain logistics that you take in school. But here we have set up the problem is that we look at the impact of the transportation network damage. So here you have roads, for example, and you have a typhoon that comes across, and it destroys some of the roads, right, and some of the roads are blocked. So, and then at the same time, we need to bring relief goods to people who are affected to the same area, and that further complicates matters. So this is one aspect of the problem of disaster relief, and we look at it using as if using actual data of the transportation network, of the typhoon path, and then do the simulation to see the impact of the damage. So we know this. Ironically now our problem is that we don't have enough rain, but we know that later on in the year we would have our fair share of typhoons. And in fact, we are in the kumbaga here in the Pacific Ocean. The typhoons are created, and then they are the first line of defense, and we use a lot of typhoons every year. The first of all, destructive recent history, Super Typhoon Haiyan in Yolanda in 2013, and it hit Visayas, and a lot of houses, roads were damaged, and people needed relief goods. And so these goods have to travel also through the transportation network, right? Roads, and then delivered to the people. Eventually. So that's the situation, right? And then now we try to model certain aspects of that in our in a quantitative way. So we start with the map of Visayas.
Hindi po yung
And
output
see
niya.
kung complicated because there are different islands, so 9 major islands. We map the town centers. So the circles here are town centers
Check po din.
for each municipality or
Isa pa,
city.
isa pa. Isa pa.
And we just assign the population of the town to be sort of where the town center is, which is of course an approximation, but most of the people, the center of activity in the town is the town center. And then here you also, so you have to trace out the path of the relief goods from the source, the supply, to the demand, right, where it's needed. So the town centers are the demand, that's where you deliver the goods, and the supply will come from warehouses. So it can be different, but here we're looking at the food hubs of the government agency, the LWD, and there are 4 in this region, in Iloilo, Duguete, Cebu, and Tacloban City. So these serve as our supply nodes. And then the transportation network is composed of, you have airports, and then you have seaports, so by land, by air, and by sea. And by land, you have the roads. So it connects all of the town centers, and therefore connects also the food hubs to all the towns, right? The baseline scenario.
Output po niyan.
And then, that's the transportation network, then look at the impact on the transportation network. And one of the results, we look at the
Meron sa'yo?
nodes that will get disconnected. So, meaning there are actually some town centers which will become disconnected from all the other, from the food house, from all the food house. Meaning there is no route to get to you. And this means you're very vulnerable because
Ayun, pero na.
it means it will take a very long time for the inputs to reach you because you first have to repair the road. The roads or the or overcome the roadblocks. For example, this is what happened in Ryan. The airport itself was destroyed, and so all of the goods cannot come in to Tacloban and the surrounding areas. So here's one result. And as we increase the percentage of load damage, I will see here the redder the color is, the more likely nodes, the node or the town center will be disconnected. So this is the smallest node damage we did, 1.5%. And then as we increase that, now you see we have this vulnerable area in Panay Island because now there's a chance that it will get disconnected. And as you go higher, yeah, that becomes redder also, and then you also start to have this part of Leyte and so on. And as you get apocalyptic, the whole system becomes vulnerable to being disconnected. So, of course, what this means that the more vulnerable you are, the more important it is that you reposition really goods where you are, so you can supply for your population first before the supply coming from outside the region will come in. But these things illustrate that you can do this quantitatively, and then you can run simulations. And how it was implemented was through Python. And here you have some of the common libraries that is used. So how many here have a program in any language? Naman? In any language, C++, Java, sige nga, pwede mo na HTML. Okay, good. If you have not programmed in any language, I suggest you start learning. It's now almost, hindi naman required skill, but really a skill that's very sought after and important, that you should at least have some basic knowledge. And one of the, in fact, one of the best languages to start with is Python, because it's relatively simple and very flexible, and in particular for data science, Python is the top languages, one of the top languages that's used. The other one is R, if you've heard of it. They're both open source. But do you actually encounter Python? Anyone coded in Python? Yes? In class? Or outside class? So it's actually simpler than other languages because it's a scripting language. So you can import, and then these are the libraries ng Pi. There's also SciPy for scientific Python, Pandas, and then these ones are for the mapping, OSM and X. OSM is OpenStreetMap, and then will be crossed. And then here is actually the flag of whether it's disconnected or not. And then you can do histograms. Here is a sample script for visualizing, making a chart. Here, histogram of the travel time, the food hub. So you have to basically code in the instructions for the computer to do. This is for programming. Like you're telling the computer to make these calculations for you. But then once you coded it in, you can automate it and you can just repeat it. So it's a more scalable and powerful version of what you may do in Excel right now. So Excel, of course, very powerful. You can make your calculations there, but it's not as easily automatable. Right? You have to really do things manually. But scripting or programming allows you to make the same calculations and in fact make even more types of calculations and run more types of algorithms that Excel does not have or Excel cannot do. So it opens up a new set of opportunities and problem solving things. Alright, so in this next part, I'll share with you the opportunities for data science in the Philippines, meaning what you can do if you have these skills that you can code in Python or R to analyze data and generate calculations and insights. What can you do as a job, right? Especially for those who are thinking about jobs, or actually for the freshmen or younger years who are still trying to find out their career path. You can actually even prepare as early as now by learning these other tools. Okay, so I'll also do this by sharing some of my career path in data science so far, because I happen to have tried different roles. So one role is in a company setting, where the company itself needs data scientists and is creating data science team or embedding data scientists in different teams to analyze its own data and improve its own services or products. So that's what we did at Smart Communications or Smart, basic telco company, right? And so every text you make, every call you make, every download you make using Smart data is being analyzed by the data scientists of Smart. And that helps, for example, ideally improve their services, for example, because they know where the subscribers are, but also they can sell you customized promos, packages that would suit your usage and your preferences. There are also a lot of startups. So I also worked with a startup company called Deal Grocer. So it's an e-commerce site where you can buy deals, and it also runs Beauty M&L, which is an e-commerce site that sells makeup and beauty products. So there we get to analyze, we have data on all the purchases of the customers, and that gives us insights on, again, what sells, how much this different product sells, also how promos work. So when there's a sale, for example, free delivery or 100 pesos off your next purchase, and then you can see how well those campaigns run. Another role is consulting. So as a consultant, I work as a consultant for analytics, data analytics, and with a retail company in your life as a consultant. And then finally, and most recently, I joined United Health Group R&D, which is research and development. The research and development arm of United Health Group's biggest healthcare company in the world. And the role is a bit different because now research and development, the role of research and development is to come up with products and services that do not exist yet, but that you can offer in the future, let's say in 3 years' time or 5 years' time. So it's not about improving a product that already exists, but seeing based on what we know now and from the data that we can collect and analyze what would work and that what could we deploy and roll out in the future and to develop that product. So again, there are so many applications and then of course so many roles. One thing that it's not in the slide, but I also want to mention is the fifth year is education. So of course you have skill set, you have knowledge that you can share, so you can teach. Yes, I actually do that part time. So I teach in Ateneo and in UP, and now there are new programs in data science, so master's in data science, that you can also explore and eventually you can also teach. This is some photos from my teammates at United Health Group. So our office in DC, and here's the team in Cebu. Well, it's a bit post, but in the work, in the course of the work, they actually write equations in whiteboards because that's part of the work of a data scientist. So it's not just happening at school. For the work in the company, industry, you still get to apply what you learned in school, and in fact you have to come up with new techniques by doing more research. So this is one way that you can see how what you learn in school is really applied in the real world and in your careers. Okay, and in fact, so lastly I'll share about an opportunity that is available to the graduating students this year. It's called the BPI United Health Group Data Science Program. So we partnered with BPI to train a group of aspiring data scientists. And you can learn more about the program on this website, bpi-datascience.com. And I'll just share a link here. It starts in July because most of the graduating batch will graduate in May or June. So it will start right after. It's actually 1-year program. The first 6 months is a training program. So you, and I'll share the topics, but you learn what you need to learn to be a data scientist. So we're expecting students coming from different courses, industrial engineering, could be manufacturing engineering, management engineering, but also math, applied math, physics, computer science, computer engineering. And so all these different students will have different backgrounds, but basically everyone needs additional training to become data scientists. So there's a training part and then there's an internship part. So 3 months with one company and 3 months with another company, the other company. And at the end of the year, if you perform well, you'll get another job offer from one BI and United Health Group. Alright, so I just ended the invitation. you already have through this email or visit the website to learn more. Alright, that's it. Thank you for the time and happy to take some questions about the program or about data science or about science in general.
Okay, passengers, the floor is now open for questions. You may now proceed.
To the center stage.
Name and section, please.
Hello po, I'm John May from BSI. And is it necessary, if I am an industrial engineer, I'm first of all, is data science degree?
Good question. So right now, there's no bachelor degree in data science, but some schools have started to offer a master's in data science.
So, I'm an industrial engineer and I would like to take data science in terms of physics. Example, like what you said earlier, astrophysics. Then, is it necessary that my background is not directly in astrophysics?
Right, good question. So, data science, one way to think about data science, and I don't have the slide here, but maybe you see this Venn diagram. So, Venn diagram, there are circles, right? So, there are three circles. One circle is math, methods, statistics. So, you need that to be a data scientist. The other one is programming. You need to know how to implement those methods like code. And then the third circle is actually the domain knowledge, the domain where you're going to apply the data science. So this is where it could be astrophysics in my case, so that domain. And I had to learn more about that domain so that I could apply the data science to that field, right? But this domain can be marketing. For example, digital marketing, where to place the ads so that I get the most returns. So this meaning you would learn what you need to learn about marketing so that you can apply the tools, the data science tools to a marketing job or to a marketing use case. So, yeah, sort of answer your question, right? So, in my case, physics was a domain. But the math and the tools are the same. So, so just to round it out, in industrial engineering, you learn the math, right? I hope, yeah? You learn calculus, linear algebra. The question is, did you retain it, right? But you calculus, linear algebra, and statistics, probability statistics, right? T-test, but basically, those things you can actually learn and apply. And then programming, you can learn Python or R to run these methods, algorithms. Then you can work as a data scientist. So that's why there's no degree. So it can be from any of these degrees, engineer or STEM, generally STEM degrees, or if you're or economics, if you're a quantitative, you have quantitative background, economics or even business degree, can become a data scientist if they have these skills. So now it becomes a matter of building these skills for this career.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Name and section, please.
Dr. Ma'am, I'm just former Python. Kasi kakagaling ko lang last year. Actually, ma'am, I first year talk 3 years ago sa UP, National POS Scholar Summit. And we talk the same topic about data science. And as of now po, I'm taking like, yung career ko ngayon is almost data science na. I'm undergoing data science training na po as of now. So, as
industrial engineering po, what can you recommend like technical skills or any other skills para ma-ensure ko na medyo kakayanin ko yung path ng data science po?
Sure, yes, definitely. I think yung one answer is the programming skills gap, right? Because you can see that computer science, for example, your friends who are computer science degree or IT, but they have a lot of programming. They learn SQL, database, querying, they learn C++, maybe Python. But of course, your curriculum does not have all of those. But programming is actually just a skill that you can learn, teach yourself. And then there's so many resources online, in Coursera, edX, DataCamp. So now there's no excuse not to learn, even if it's not in school, because there are so many resources. And so I think that's one of the things that you have to parang work on yourself to learn these programming languages, be comfortable, and then also some of the software engineering tools like Git, like version control, so how you keep your code backed up, and then you can actually collaborate with other other people in your team who are also programming the same project. So these are things that they learn in software engineering, computer science, but we don't necessarily learn in a course like engineering, not even in physics, but they are the skills that we can learn. So I think if you just learn those and then keep on the data science track, you can become a data scientist. You can have a data scientist role. And then you can also apply to this. So we're attracting the fresh graduates, but we're also opening it up to new graduates with 1 or 2 years of experience.
Any more questions from the audience? Name and title, please.
I'm learning Joyka from the SIA course. As I read on your scholar, scientist na po, what, you had the power and resources to eradicate a world problem, what could it be, using your research po, as a physicist or a data scientist?
Yes, wow. Okay, so, tough question.
po, teacher po ako. So, in behalf po, Joshua Cantor, paano po pag di magaling sa math?
Paano pag hindi magaling sa math? Right, good question. Are you in the right course? I know. So, here's the thing. Math. I would say math is also a skill, just like programming. So, for example, it's a skill means that pwede kang hindi magaling, pero gagaling ka. It just takes your deliberate attention and practice. Now, it's a different question if hindi ka mahilig. If you don't like it, you won't practice it. And therefore, hindi ka gagaling. So I say, you're starting out, hindi ka magaling, pero you apply yourself, gagaling ka. I mean, you're the only. Pero, kasi, hindi ka magaling, you cannot do this. It's really necessary, right? You cannot do this without math. This is math, applied. This is applied math and programming. Yeah, you can say programming, applied math, applied logic. So, yes, but yes, doesn't mean if you're not good now, you'll never be good. It's actually, so meaning, let's break the stereotype, let's break the misconception that you're born good at math. That's not true. That's not true. It's a skill, it's like a skill.
So, another question po. I don't know if na-remember ko yung question ko last time sa UP kung naniniwala ko sa kanila.
Wow, okay, good. So you pala yung tanong natin?
Hindi po. Iba naman po. As an astrophysicist, so problem po ngayon daw yung resources natin na umate. And then, yung plano ni Elon Musk na ecolonize Mars. So, will it benefit the humanity as solution, proposed yung solution na ecolonize Mars dahil ng mga resources na natin.
Right. Yeah, actually, interesting yung proposition na yan, right? And it's true, like, okay, there are no more resources here, so let's look for another planet, and then we use up the resources there. It does, but it's good. There are reasons to go to Mars, right? There are reasons to go to Mars. There are reasons to explore the other planet. But maybe it shouldn't be that okay, we're concentrated to go take care of Earth because we have another planet. In fact, number one is very hard to live in Mars. Like here, it's like, okay, we can breathe the air. What? We can breathe the air.
Habang hindi pa tapos.
Cannot do that anywhere else, right? Do you know why? So if you think about it, we evolved in this planet. And that's why it matches us. And we co-evolved with all of the plants. So, and so, it's given, right? In Mars, every year, you have to fight for everything. Like, in the science survey of it, right? Like the Marta. So anyway, I would, my own take is just that it's not an issue of, it's not, so it's easy to say that you go to Mars and you have other resources, right? Because actually you have to spend a lot of resources that will also come from Earth to colonize Mars. And then, if you do the same thing again, then you run out of resources there. So, the fundamental problem is there. And the solution is not technological. The solution is political, spiritual.
Thank you po.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm not very sure student from the segment. So, as a university student, I'm very curious about astrophysics. I'm curious about the past years. And so my question is, as astrophysicists like you, how were you able to gather, identify the location of the moon and
there we study networks. And so that's why the way it's set up is like a network, right? The network has nodes and links. And in this case, the nodes are now centered and the links are the transportation links. And then the data, we actually got from OpenStreetMap. So it's open source, but then you need to know how to use the OSM libraries, for example, Python, to download the data and to manipulate the data so that you can do the analysis that you want. So those slides I showed, these are Jupyter Notebook. It's called Jupyter Notebook. It's just the notebook where you can put the code in, and then it's the Python libraries that allow you to do the calculation.
Last question. On behalf of my classmates, we would like to ask you, what matters more, your skills in mathematics or your skills in programming?
Oh wow, okay, good. So here, again, I think both. So again, going back to the Venn diagram, and this is why it's hard. And this is why it's hard right now to find data scientists, because again, yeah, depending on your background, you will be good in one, but not as good in the other, and then you have to learn the other side. But I would say, given that you can learn, I think it's easier to learn programming. You have already mathematics background. It will be easy for you to learn programming. Versus if you have programming experience, background, then you have to go back to the basics of math. I think it's harder for them. So I would actually encourage more people with the math quantitative background to learn programming because it's actually fun. You try it. And then you get both, right? And then for the people with programming skills, from computer science, IT, they can actually focus more on the data engineering roles because that's building the pipeline to process data, etc. Anyway, it's a big field, and you can actually find your niche depending on how much programming you like doing. There's also now this role called, but there's always the role of data analyst. The data analyst actually, you use a lot of data, reports, create charts, but you're not necessarily programming because there's now a lot of, like, you can use Excel or you can use some Tableau. There are many softwares that now you don't need structured code that can drag and drop. And there are more tools now that can do that. So you can also do that. You can be a data analyst because you have the math and analytical thinking skills to do data. So that's it. What's important in math? Guys, you need to program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last na or likod na lang? Kasi mo kasi, let's do it quickly na lang.
I am David from the California I am actually very interested in programming also. And we are getting presently we can upload each
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that very knowledgeable talk about data science.
And to award the certificate of appreciation, may we call on again the Executive Committee of the Industrial Engineering Assembly 2019, our Chairman Alisa Don Gutierrez, with her co-chair, Justin Fontanilla and Francia Bea Ollede. This certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to Dr. Reynabel Reyes for sharing her knowledge and expertise as the Speaker of the 12th Industrial Engineering Assembly to the theme of Industrial Engineer, Bridging the 7641, given the 16th day of March in the year of our Lord 2019 at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines Theater, College of Communications Building, NBC Compound, Santa Mesa, Manila. Signed by IUSMB Chairman Alisa Don Gutierrez, IUSMB Advisor, Engineer Jose Ecolpeo, Chairperson of the Industrial Engineering Department, Engineer Arkin J. Austria, and the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Remedios G. Ado. Once again, we would like to thank our third speaker for the series of talks, Dr. Reina Reyes. Thank you for having the time sharing your thoughts and knowledge about data science.
And that is the savory part or segment of our ISMB 2019. And I guess we will now move on.
We will now proceed to the
So, this event is actually organized by the fifth year graduating batch of Industrial Engineering. And,
kumusta na kayo mga speakers natin? Nasa kaya yung mga 5-1? Nagbababayo pa kayo? Sa mga, nasa yung mga 5-1?
how about my section PSI 52?
Mga babies ko, PSI 53!
Okay, since this event is a flagship of the graduating batch of the ECIT, why not we go down memory lane and revisit happenings that have been have happened for the past 5 years. Ready ka na ba, Leo? Di ka ba maiiyak? Yan yung mga nakita yung yung mga issue natin before.
Again, right now we'll be showing the graduation picture of graduating batch of the Industrial Engineering Assembly of the school year 2018 to 2019. Of course, guys, when posting social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to use our official hashtag for Industrial Engineering Assembly 2019. Hashtag 12IEA.
Hashtag INA Assembly 2019.
Hashtag ready for takeoff. And of course, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Remedios D. Ado.
Welcome po, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And now we'll be showing you guys the awaited graduation pictures of the graduating batch. Let's go, Marjorie! purpose ko siya is ABB. And of course guys, kamusta naman yung SBT participants natin? Kamusta yung mag-prepare nyo? Yung mga presenters natin, okay na ba? Okay, so feeling ko okay naman kayo, no guys? And of course, pag-propose kayo sa Facebook, sa Instagram, sa Twitter, nakabot sa Industrial Engineering Assembly 2019. Don't forget to use our official hashtag, hashtag 12IEA, hashtag ready for takeoff, hashtag ISMB 2019. And of course, ISMB 2019 wouldn't be possible without our co-presenters, Paperlink, Blue, Study Haven, Jack and Jill Piazza's Spicy Seafood. And of course, ISMB wouldn't be possible without our major sponsors, QuickFX, Booking. Also, special thanks to our minor sponsors, Microcad, Greenwich, Oregon, and our official media partners, Aztec.ph, Green Giant FM, and lastly, our studio partner, Relax Digital Photography. And guys, wait na lang sa Booking. Nag-download mo kayo ng Booking app. So ayun, download nyo siya, and meron kayong makakuha kayo ng 1-year video. And doon sa pag-1 nyo sa 1-year video ng Booking, for example, makakabili ka ng 2 milk tea for the price of 1. So, yung mechanics doon sa Booking app is upload it sa page DTS. And be mindful of that, kasi sayang guys, sobrang daming first. Look first, kamusta naman yung mga passengers natin? Okay ka ba kayo? Buhay ko ba kayo guys? Parang hindi, buhay ko ba kayo? Parang wala ah. Buhay ko ba kayo guys? Okay, of course, there's be mindful for our SPG proposal. Please prepare a 5-minute presentation of your proposal, and of course, you wouldn't have to go through the details or the nitty-gritty of your proposal. You would just have to discuss your general vision and your idea to a panelist. Of course, guys, kumusta na yung mga ayan na, magpapasa na kapag natawag ko kami ng seniors. And natawagan po kami sa namimigay ng raffle prizes.
Marketing, prizes po. So another winner of the weekly segment yesterday, we have
Christian at CLBS meeting oil. Where you at? Akit ka dito sa Major Brand.
at CLGNCHR.
Capital C, capital C. Ano ba siya?
Ano ba siya?
Ano ba niya?
Christian yung name niya.
Pinagawa po ulit kami sa marketing.
Marketing po.
Brighton. Yan na po si Christian.
Join us here on stage.
Ayan.
At tayo yung pinagkain ko ng masalapit ko. Kailangan, yung maganda yung delivery dapat. Feelings.
Alam ko yung kantang-kantang na yung pao. So, ano naman yung
Wait lang guys, narinig na? Asan na?
alam ko yung kantang-kantang na yung pao. Ano yun? Acetone. Okay yung mga natin. Baka na yung mga natin na lang. Hindi naman. Alright. So, we would like to congratulate Christian. Nanalo ka na. Pwede. Wala na. Ng fan paper and notebook from Paper Lane. Yes. Oo ah. Ito yung mga friends mo.
And for our next with feelings.
Ginagaling talaga ng
Kailangan lang magaling.
ano nila, no?
Kailangan lang maganda yung delivery ate. Oo, saya. Bago pa ko sir.
But first, year sensor. Ngayon, year sensor.
From UN.
Okay, round of applause kay Ate Chloe. Guys, hanggang sa team meeting.
You may now take your prize.
No, go pa tayo. Thank you. Thank you for participating.
And for the last winner of our quiz segment, we have at
Lori Matulog. Sorry, Lori Matulog. Lori.
Taas mo. Taas mo lang. May tututok sa monitor.
hindi ka ba siya? Ayan, hindi ka pala siya. Kuya, mabasa mo lang yung face mo pala with feelings.
Pero parang yung tatanong pinabasa ko.
Oo, ay kailangan na pala yan, oo. Kailangan kantahan.
Lord, may kayo po.
And pakilakasal po.
Kahit sorry ang call ng quiz na to.
You were always gonna be my love, it's okay.
Ah, yun pala yun. Photo op! To everyone who participated in our 3D segment, thank you so much, guys.
And of course, guys, don't forget to use our hashtag for this year's event. Go IPA, IESM 2019, and ready for takeoff. And of course, we would like to thank our sponsors for without them this event wouldn't be possible. ISMB is represented by Paperlink, Blue, Stag Haven, Jack and Jill Piazza Spicy Seafood.
And of course, IESM 2019 wouldn't be possible without our major sponsors, Quick FX, Booking,
Also, special thanks to our minor sponsors, Microcad, Greenwich, and Argos.
our official media partners, Stick.ph and Green Giant FM.
And lastly, we would like to thank our studio partner, Relax Digital Photography. Hey, Nick, for now, kamusta naman yung ISM for you?
Ano, a bit emotional and yun, masaya at the same time kasi I get to witness this kind of event again for the last time. Kasi para every year, di ba, we take part and then ito na talaga yung flagship event natin na organize. So, mixed emotions kasi we were able to pull off this event and at the same time, marami may natutunan. Kasi kahit nag-host tayo, nag-activate tayo, nag-host tayo. So, ang dami namin natutunan, especially yung sa data science kanina. How about you, Leo?
And of course, doon sa president attention ko kanina is yung data science by Dr. Reynolds Reyes. And of course, yung applications talaga ng mathematics and programming. So, take us into different level or different advancement of technology. And of course, appreciate yung company na Sir the engineers the other cruise about financial literacy. It's about achieving financial freedom. And of course, we should be mindful about our assets, what we buy, and what
from the one-time say-so step, which made the factory shiny clean and set the standard for cleanliness. Seiketsu makes it possible and visible to live up to that standard.
Attention all passengers, you are still on board the PUB IT Assembly Flight 2019. Please do not remove your seatbelts as we are about to embark on Seiketsu. In today's Seiketsu, we welcome aboard our moderators. We have esteemed individuals and the pride of PUB Industrial Engineering Department inside and outside the university. Please welcome Ms. Alexa De Romero and Mr. Kendu Siochi.
As our moderators for this year's panel discussion.
Welcome, passengers, to Seiketsu. We are your cabin crew. My name is Alexa De Romero. And I am Kendu Siochi. At ngayon, dito makikilala natin lahat ng mga invite namin tatlong IT professional. So, yon tama, no? Kung napansin nyo, the previous day and up to kalahating araw ng araw na to, puro hindi IT professionals. Tama ba? Sagutin niyo naman ako, guys. Tama po ba? Tama ba? Ayan. So ngayon, as an IE, syempre hindi natin palalagpasin yung opportunity to learn from different IE professionals from different fields.
Kasi given that IE, sobrang lawak ng field natin. Marami tayong pwedeng pagtuhang iba't ibang profession, iba't ibang specific field. So for tonight, we have invited three team panelists.
Tama yan,
From different professions. So ano sa doon?
So we have
One from the academy. And another, one from production. And meron din from supply chain management. These three IE professionals will help us. Kung saan pa natin talagang gusto patunguhin itong pag-aaral natin, this degree of ours. So, get ready for your question at kailangan natin silang makilala for now. So, sino-sino nga bang ating speaker? Well, wala kami listahan. So, wait lang. Baka lumabas yung sawi. Ayan. Ayan.
pwede mo muna sa akin kasi
GM ko sa'yo, tita. Baka matanggal tayo sa plan.
Kuya, press F11.
Oo, turn off ka nila ng
F11.
blue.
Ano F11? Sa keyboard, F11.
Laging turn off yun.
Okay, let's see. So for our first panelist, he is a seasoned supply chain management consultant
Hindi ko alam to.
and trainer, business school lecturer, entrepreneurial mindset mentor, and entrepreneur. Our panel for supply chain management, ladies and gentlemen, our passengers, please welcome Engineer Norma H. Adriano. Our next panelist is an assistant professor is an assistant professor at the Department of Industrial Engineering and Operations Research at the University of the Southeast Diliman. Our panel for the academe, we have Engineer Christian Jan Emmanuel S. Boydon.
And for our final panel for today, passengers, let's welcome Head of Technical Services Department of Inventory Exchange Holdings Inc. Panel for Production, Engineer Darius Prudential. Give them a round of applause.
Good afternoon, sir. So before we formally start the panel discussion, you may introduce yourself to our passengers. A brief introduction of yourself, what you are currently doing, what certain projects you are more focused on, and things like that.
Hello, good afternoon. Parang na-speak pa eh, pero pansin. Anyway, my name is Norman Adriano. I'm currently a consultant for supply chain management. I
I consult with companies and individuals, and I also lecture at 10th International Business School. During Saturdays, I had a class this morning. I should have a class this afternoon, but what I did, instead of running the class, I asked my students to come over. So meron mga estudyante darating for this event. I want them to witness your event also. So I have been, I worked with the corporate for around 30 years, and then I decided to do consulting. So I'm on my own, and I'm happier this way. Okay? I'm very excited to be with you guys, so that I can, share what I know and answer the questions that you might throw. And overall, this should be a fun afternoon. Thank you.
How about you, sir?
Hello, good afternoon sa lahat. So I'm Christian John Mayon. I'm actually a assistant professor sa UP naman. I graduated BSIE and MSIE. And ang main kong ginagawa actually is ako yung from the academy, teaching and research. So if anyone of you have any questions or interested sa ganun later on, ayun. So I'm very open to answer those questions. And also, ang favorite track ko is OR. Actually, I'm part of the board of directors of ORNC, if you're familiar. So kung meron sa inyong mga interested sa math ngayon, OR, optimization, so, ayun.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. First of all, maraming salamat sa pag-invite sa akin dito. Actually, it's my first time to speak in front of students. So, I'm Daryl, graduated industrial engineering in Los Baños. So, I've been in production, manufacturing for 8 years. And last year, I changed my direction or career. I'm now in the logistics company. But mainly my experience is in manufacturing and Kaizen and production. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, our esteemed panelists. You may now sit down. Passengers, feel free to approach the mic and the middle for your 30 questions. So, are you ready? So, what are we waiting for? Let's open Say Ketsu.
Ayan, so, sisimulan po sana namin yung question, sir. Sir, ayun po, mga sir. Ayun. First question is, bakit niyo po tinahak itong path na meron kayo ngayon? Na IT field but in a different field?
Given na sobrang dami ko ng possible field na pwede natin puntahan.
Okay, I started my career in manufacturing. So, I've been in manufacturing for 8 years. So, I'm happy and because na-apply ko naman yung mga skills at mga natutunan ko sa industrial engineering sa manufacturing. And then, recently, may bagong career na na-open sa akin, which is in logistics. So, na-curious ako on how to explore myself in this kind of industry. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. How about you, sir?
Okay, so, siguro I'll be honest sa answers ko. Kasi the reason why I'm nakakadate kasi nung graduate when choosing a particular path ng graduation, so basically sinipili ko sa academy or industry. And na-realize ko na ako yung tao na medyo more of, hindi naman sa abstract, pero medyo maraming ideas na gustong paglaruan and gustong i-explore. So I think kasi mas suitable ako sa academy kasi nandun yung facilities for that. So, kumbaga, research and teaching to share your ideas and to explore those ideas. So, ayun. So, medyo, kasi ako tao medyo maraming iniisip. So, ayun.
Para magtuloy-tuloy pa po yung pag-reach niyo pa ng mga curious things na you have. How about you, Sir Norman?
Okay, so siguro kwentuhan ko kayo. After graduating from UST sa industrial engineering, my first job was in Saint Darby in Marikina. It's a tire manufacturer. It was
during that time manufacturing the British style. I am one siguro of the lucky one that after graduation was able to become an industrial engineer because during my time, yung mga kaklase ko, yung mga kabatch ko, they went to other fields, finance, and so on and so forth. So para sa akin kasi, mas maganda yung kung ano yung kinuha mo, yun yung magagamit mo. So, my first job was plant industrial engineer. Okay, so talagang naganap ko yung pinag-aralan ko. Pero I found out na mas marami akong natutunan on the job kaysa sa college. Unfortunately. Okay? So, paano ako nakuha? Siguro ikwento ko na rin paano ako nakuha. Nakita ko sa bulletin yung opening, plant IT, actually junior IT. No? And then, Monday ko nakita, Monday, kita ko USA, kumuha ko nung, merong kinukuha special something. No? So because wala ka pang diploma, tapos na, no? Pero hindi pa siguro yung diploma, you have to get that para sa company that you are going to apply with. Kailangan yun. Kailangan makita yun. So Tuesday na ako napunta ng Marikina. Pagdating ko doon, nakita ko haba ng pila. And I found out may mga kalaban ko doon sa position. Isa lang yung ikukulit, by the way. Kasi yung mga kalaban ko sa position, mga supervisor na, working na. Okay? So, this gave me one lesson kasi I got the job simply because I was prepared. The night before, Monday night, inisip ko, ano kaya ang most likely itatanong? Diba? Kung ay yung pinahanap, ano kaya yung most likely na itatanong sa interview? So kung ay dyan sa manufacturing, malamang ang itatanong about how to come up with standard time. Okay? So, balik ako sa libro, binasa ko paano nga ba kumuha ng standard time. And that was the question that was given to me. I was lucky. And so from among those who lined up for that one position, I was the lucky one because I was prepared. Okay? I spent mga years, maybe 4 years, at sa manufacturing job. I went to Avon Product Manufacturing, also as an industrial engineer. And I spent 15 years of my life in Avon Manufacturing. That's where I learned my supply chain. Okay? And then after leaving Avon, I became assistant vice president for To Go Freight. I spent 3 years there. And then To Go Freight is a service provider, it's a shipping company during that time. So I was with the freight group. Okay? I was in charge of all land operations nationwide. Land operations meaning lahat ng container yard, lahat ng equipment, even quality management. Okay? After that, I went to Motolite. So, manufacturing, and then service provider in To Go. Then I went back to manufacturing. I became vice president for supply chain of Motolite. Okay? I was responsible for the Philippine operation, Australia, New Zealand, US, and Malaysia. So I was traveling a lot. So, after that, I went back to service. So I became the head of the consumer business unit for DHL supply chain, the logistics of it. Okay? And after that, another company, before I decided that I will work for myself. That's why I became a consultant. So, yun yung story na career ko. And so, as an IT, siguro it would be good for you guys to know that when you are in the logistics companies and the companies that are looking for supply chain managers, they're looking for industrial engineers. They prefer that their supply chain leaders are industrial engineering graduates because of the training that we have during college. Process thinking, dapat marunong kayo mag-analyze ng mga processes so that you can improve them and so on and so forth. You have finance background, you have accounting background, management background. So, mas broader, mas maganda. Because in logistics, hindi siya logistics lang. Logistics is part of supply chain management. It's the business itself. So, as well as supply chain, kailangan ng somebody who can look at the forest and also look at the sea. And yun ang training ng mga industrial engineers.
i.e. ang sought after ng mga company in terms of the supply chain industry. So, since many of our passengers or our participants are first year, so parang medyo hindi pa nila na hold yung parang ipupush nila yung pag-pursue ng degree in industrial engineering. So, kayo po ba, first and foremost, is industrial engineering your first choice and why did you stay in that degree po?
Okay. At first, nung nag-apply ako nag-take ako ng entrance exam sa university, my first choice talaga is civil engineering. So, last choice na binigay na-recommend sa akin is industrial engineering. So, during college, nakaset ako na mag-shift to civil engineering after lang years, complete ko lang yung requirements. But, during the time na nag-take up na ako ng mga industrial engineering subject, I learned to appreciate yung subject. I learned to appreciate yung skills, yung knowledge na nakukuha ko sa industrial engineering. So, after that, I stayed in industrial engineering and fortunately naman, dito sa field na pinahak ko, marami ako napuntahan at marami ako natutunan even after graduation in the university.
So yun, Sir Daryl, parang along the way, dun yun na po parang nagugustuhan yung mga, lalo na yung mga knowledge and skills na meron yung industrial engineer. So how about you, Sir Christian? Is it your first choice or not?
Apart from say pala kami, civil engineering is yung first choice ko. And fortunately, at first choice ko sa UP naman, civil engineering, second choice ko is material engineering. So walang-wala yung IE. Pero, fortunately, nakalipat ako start to first year. Bakit ako lumipat? Again, magiging very honest ako sa first ko. Sorry na lang kung medyo. Sabi ko sa akin sa tatay ko, tamad daw ako. Tamad. So, and, hindi ko masasabi, hindi ko ininig ito yung term, pero pag IE ka, magigets mo yung makukuha mo yung skills na madami ka na-achieve kahit mas mali ginagawa mo. Gets mo yun? Yung pagiging efficient. So, doon ako natuwa. Actually, sinabi sa akin na may bagay ko ito kasi gusto mo na marami kang magagawa na onti lang yung effort na ginagawa mo. So, lumipat ako and eventually natutunan ko na tuloy na yung subject, diba? Methods, optimization, and yung simple bagay na lalabas ka ng building na to or mag-compute ka, lagi mo iisip ano ba yung best way, ano ba yung pinaka-tipid, pinaka-mabilis. So yun yung na-hold eventually sa akin, personally. And natuwa din ako na may implicitly, may mathematical approach kumbaga sa ganung graphic. So it's very suited siya, nag-suited siya actually sa personality ko. So, ayun.
So parang mula sa isang simpleng suggestion, you started to go with it. So I think marami dito nakaka-relate na hindi naman talaga industrial engineering ang first choice. So meron sino dito hindi IE ang first choice? Mga namusan din ang sila sa civil, electronics,
Medyo madami kaya.
sino ba dyan? Meron ba dyan?
Madami. Taas na ulit ang kamay.
Ayan.
Almost all of the crowd.
Ikaw ba, Alexa, is IE your first choice? By the way,
Pero dito ako.
Walang
Madaling
ilaw
lang
kasi
ako.
dyan. Okay. So, ikaw ba, is IE your first choice as well?
Hindi talaga. Actually, dentistry yung gusto ko. Di ba ang layo?
Sobrang layo naman. Yung civil material to IE, medyo engineering pa rin, pero hindi.
Pero ako dentistry, hindi ko alam paano ako napunta dito eh. Pero hindi ako nagsisisi dahil pinursu ko yung IT. Yan.
May participant ka ba dyan na may mga
Madami. Actually, nakapila na sila.
Okay. So, sino
Oo.
gusto mauna?
So first, kang bibigay ng question. We have from IE student from 4th year level. Please state your name and pakilala ng little bit.
And from
Pakita
what
na, medyo malimit dito eh. Ako nga di makita eh. Tuwang-tuwa ha. Yan.
I have a question. Based on your experiences, so we say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 as being the lowest and 1 as the highest. So my question is, how worthy
is as industrial engineer in a company. That's my question.
How worthy is IE in the company? Because it actually, even up to now, may mga company na parang, ano ba talaga ang ginagawa ng IE? Saan ba kayo talaga pwede? Kasi parang sa sobrang dami po, is hindi na rin, naguguluhan na rin yung mga HR. So sa tingin niyo po, Sir Norman, how worthy is IE in our industry or in our company?
You mean worthy or you mean valuable?
Worthy or valuable? Or
Or
both?
both valuable, or how our items valued to the company?
That, how items are valued in a company.
As I said kanina, well, depende yan dun sa kilala ng company. When it comes to senior leaders, for example, for supply chain management, IE is the first reference. Okay? Today, most of the senior leaders of logistics companies and senior leaders for multinational companies that have mga supply chain units, they prefer IT. And that's because mas malawak na kasi nakikita. And the skills that have been honed during college and on the job, mas nagagamit yun. Kasi nabanggit ko kanina, di ba? An IT should be able to look at the forest, the whole thing, from end to end. But should be able to go down to the root so that you can fix problems. Okay? Dun sa baba. Mahalaga yun because you can see yung interlocking of all the functional areas of a company. So, yun yung value ng isang IE. Pero, when I say IE, yung IE, not just who graduated as IE, an IE who was able to practice yung skills. For example, work certification, yung pagkuha ng time study, kailangan gumawa ng work ng method engineering, and so on and so forth. So yun yung kailangan qualify. Because those skills, getting the time standard, being able to do method improvement, method engineering, facilities management, okay? Yung mga yun, pag na-apply mo yun, then you are now poised to become a leader because you have skills all over. So yun yung value. The value is what you have as an IE. So hindi po graduate ka ng IE, valuable ka na. Not necessarily so. Yung accumulated experience mo along the way, that will be your value.
So it's according to what you have and what can you offer as an IE. So, and university setup naman po.
After, also as a university, I very much agree sa sir na hindi yung degree na ay yung per se na matter. Nagamatter yung kung ganong skills and build the personality degree. So for me, bakit wala mo lang magiging IE or yung training as IE? But I can give it two words. So I is first and foremost are trying to be efficient. Obviously, pinavalue ng company, efficient people, di ba? Yung kaya mag-deliver na output na nakakapagpapit ng resources. And second word, ang training ng IE is usually to be managers, to manage people, to manage systems. So if you want to be valuable, more than using the degree of industrial engineering, itry nyo i-embed sa pagkatao nyo, yung pagiging efficient and yung pagiging able to manage anything.
How about in our production setup, sir?
Okay. Mostly, industrial engineering function sa industry, they are the ones in charge or they are the ones expected to do improvement projects. Enhancement for all different aspects ng factory, from production, from the material planning, from production planning, warehousing. So mostly industrial engineering function is valued on their contribution on how to improve yung system. So when we improve yung system, mostly nakaka-contribute tayo for the saving, for additional income, for additional improvement on the resources of the company So, mostly kasi bottom line of most company is to do business. To do business is to have to be more on the profitability side. So, if the IT function can contribute directly to this, mas malaki yung nagiging value ng IT function dun sa company. And the second one is, this is the one of the, I think, most interesting part of the IT function is, we help the people to, by improving the system, we help the people in the company on how to do things more efficiently, more efficiently so that nakukuha nila yung goal or yung output na needed ng company para sa kanila. So I think yun yung dalawang part na binavalue ng company as an IT dun sa loob ng isang manufacturing setup.
So talagang comply with what you have, so i-apply talaga siya sa company. Thank you, Russell. Nasagot ba nila sir ng questions mo?
Yes. Sagot naman.
Thank you. So,
Thank you. Palakpakan po natin si Russell. Diba? So, ayun nga, Kenneth. Medyo naglilibot-libot ako. Di ba na ako makita?
nakapalda, naka-gold na naka-news Kenneth.
Ay,
Gigigil. Sorry, na-shock na ako. Well, yes, continue.
Kenneth. Hindi. Kasi nga, Kenneth, pumunta ako sa iba't ibang sulong dito, di ba? So, yan. At ang daming gustong magtanong nila. So, dire-diretso na natin to.
Go! Sige,
So, yun.
proceed na natin yan. So,
Next
next questioner.
Yan. Next question.
Survey pala to. Sorry.
Next, we have a question from a fifth-year student. Please state your name.
Hello, I'm Erica Miguel de la Peña from this I-5. So, as one of the graduating students, we want to widen our opportunities and credentials even more. So, we are contemplating if we should take the CIE examination. So, what are your thoughts for regarding the CIE examination? Since some po dun sa mga narinig namin is hindi po pinakount yung CIE sa ibang company. Yun po. Thank you.
So let's first have Sir Daryl about that. So should we take CIE or not? Or what are your thoughts about certification for industrial engineer?
For me, CIE, the best part of CIE is setting a standard. So this CIE sets a standard on the lahat ng natutunan natin sa university. So by setting a standard, we know how to improve ourselves. So I encourage na mag-take tayo nito kasi dito natin makikita kung gaano tayo at par dun sa ibang industrial engineer na nag-take sa iba't ibang university.
So it is an add-on. Sir, how about you, Sir Christian? What do you think about taking CIE?
I'll say ko that, dahil sa practical siguro yung first and foremost, bakit nga ba tayo hindi license? Ay, bakit wala tayong license as for PRC? Kasi compared to other engineering courses, iba yung at stake. For example, mechanical engineering, civil engineering. Pag gumawa ka ng building, it has to be in your name, but kailangan mo maging accountable. Sa IES kasi, in general, hindi naman tayo ganun. Kasi we work with systems in general. So, hindi tayo magiging directly accountable to some device or to some machine or to some equipment. So, yun different. Pero yung CIE nga kasi iba yung approach niya. Actually, tama si Sir. It's setting a standard para mas mabilis para later on if a company wants to hire IEs with this level of knowledge, automatically, pipiliin nila yung may CIE. Pero practically speaking, I'll be honest na, from experience, sa ngayon, in general, hindi pa kasi ganun ka-build yung, hindi pa ganun actually ka-popularized yung CIE. Hindi pa siya kasi take into account sa recruitment, Pero in the future, I think, an idea nga na may CIE sa standard. So in the future, I think may magandang investment siya. Although at first, baka maging medyo costly kasi yung exam.
So being as a consultant naman po, Sir Norman, is it prerequisite or is it a good thing na meron ka or kahit wala naman po?
Ang idea ko dyan is why? Why would you want to have a CIE? Okay? And to be able to answer that, you have to have a vision of the future that you want. Diba? If you have a vision of a future that you want, everything that you do today and tomorrow should be able to support in the achievement of that vision. Okay? Now, kung halimbawa ang vision ko maging, graduate ako ng IE, pero ang vision ko gusto ko maging, mag-set up ng sarili kong business. Okay? Gusto kong mag-tayo ng isang factory for beauty products, for example. So, ang next na tanong, kailangan ko bang maging CIT para ma-achieve ko yun o para maging successful? Okay? So, MBA, for example, yung ibang mga pagka-graduate gusto mag-MBA. Ang tanong lagi is why? What is your vision of your future that MBA degree could help you with? Kasi if it's not sayang, it's a waste of effort, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and for what, diba? But when you are going to decide whether to do this or that, you should have a vision of your future, of the future that you want to achieve. And everything that you do today and all the other days to come should be supportive. Again, to be redundant about it, you should be supportive of that vision that you want for yourself.
So you yourself ask yourself, why? Should I take it? Or is it required for gusto ko ba talaga sa akin? So Erica, are you fine with your answers or do you still have a follow-up question?
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Now we have a participant from a different university.
From a participating university.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what name, from what school, and from what SPG?
Good afternoon, engineers. I'm Winnie from University of Manila, SPG 10. I just want to ask her, ano po yung IT tools na gamit sa work? So, mapapractice pa natin siya during nag-aaral pa kami.
Ano ang gamit na gamit sa trabaho? Let's have Sir Christian. But isipin parang mas gamit na ito. Parang for now, as students pa lang sila makapag-focus na sila doon.
Okay, siguro yung answer ko is mga galing sa, we do graduate survey. So, binabantayan namin yung graduates and ano ba yung work nila, ano yung ginagawa nila. And yung pinaka-recent, actually, from yung kanina, yung last speaker from Sayri Bermudez, very used ngayon yung skill if you can handle and you can analyze and you can process data. So it's true actually na sa ngayon, hindi naman sabi mong, although hindi ko talaga IE person, diba? Pero, I mean, improving processes using data, managing systems using data. So, for me, ayun.
So medyo maintain ang data processing. How about naman po in the perception of production industry? What are the tools? Ay tools na gamit. Yung medyo gas-gas.
This is some of professionally and personally. Most na tool talaga or skill na gamit ng IE is time and motion study. So I've been in the industry for 9 years ever since na nag-start ako ng job. From time to time, any project, laging kailangan kasi you need the best possible time and optimize yung resources. So, mostly time and motion study is there. So, on a personal insight, time and motion study also helps us to improve our lives. Napaka-traffic ngayon. So, time and motion study helps us how to improve our traveling time. So yun, for me, time and motion study will still be very beneficial and useful kahit saan, outside or inside ng industry.
So more than in the company, ma-apply mo rin personally at time and motion study. How about naman for in the supply chain, for Norman?
Sa akin isa dahil, yung sa tanong mo, it really depends anong skill ang kakailangan at that stage of your career. Kung nagsisimula ka pa lang, yung mga hard skills, how to get a time standard, motion and time study, depende din sa trabaho mo. So, dapat magaling ka doon as applied to your work. So, yung mga skills ng IE that will apply to your work depending on level where you are today. Yun yung skills na mahalaga. So, hindi ko masasabing mahalaga to, mahalaga yun. Kasi it really depends at asan kang level ng work mo ngayon. But if you are now at the senior level, I would say that, kasi even if you are the brightest person around, you're not expected to know everything. Okay? So para sa akin, ang pinakamahalaga, I think, kapag na senior level ka, even if when you're starting, is the systematic use of common sense. Okay? It's still common sense. Kasi, again, why am I saying that? Just here you learn that. You can practice that. But because you don't know everything, sometimes when you are working with a team, you trust your gut, you trust your common sense. Kasi ang tanong lagi why? The first question ng IE lagi should be why. Kaya ewan ko kung naituro na yan sa inyo. The first question is why. And then the next is, does it make sense? Diba? Kapag may narinig kayo na bago sa inyo, pero in the grand scheme of things, will it make sense? So para sa akin, yung work simplification, gusto din, nung nagsisimula pa lang ako, yan yung lagi kong binabasa, lagi kong ginagawa. Ang definition ng work simplification is the systematic use of common sense. At pagdating mo sa senior level ng career mo, whether you are in supply chain or whatever career, common sense is the number one skill that you should have.
Thank you for the one. Above all, common sense. Is it common? Make it common.
Thank you. Now, ang kanina meron tayong participating school, 4th year, 5th year. Kita mo ba ako? Harap ba ka? Hindi niya kita nakikita So, ayan, meron tayo from the 1st year level. So,
Yan, mga fresh pa.
ayan, sige, go. Pakilala ka ha.
Magandang hapon po. Ako si Ayori Matunog po from Base I1 at KG7 sa Clean Energy. Yung tanong ko lang po, bilang IE po kasi, IE student pa lang pala. Nag-look po.
Darating din kayo dyan. Hindi lang
Di-
yung mga 5 years.
Di ka sure.
7 years, gano'n.
So ayun, nag-look forward po kasi ako makapag-work sa ibang bansa kasi po mas nakikita ko po yung opportunities doon. And yung question ko po, sa dami po ng opportunities as an IE sa ibang bansa, bakit po mas pinili yung mag-stay sa Philippines at mag-work dito as an IE?
So, Sir Christian, yeah, bakit? And then sa same university rin po na pinasukan natin, nag-stay so why daw po?
Okay, medyo kasi apparently I'm leaving the country later this year. Pero mag-aaral kasi ako, PhD level, so, ayun. Pero, unang sabihin, actually, IT, nag-iiba lang yung name niya sa ibang countries. So, baka na ma-confuse tayo. Sa ibang countries, meron systems engineering, decision analytics, lahat yung nag-root sa IT. So, makikita niyo commonalities. Pero baka lang, ayun, ma-confuse tayo later on. Kasi, as of now, ang alam ko, ang nag-retain ng IT na name, US, and a few countries in Asia, like Hong Kong and Taiwan. For example, Singapore, systems engineering yung ginagamit nila, and Australia. And sa iba-iba eh. And anyway, so bakit ko pinili sa Pilipinas? Actually, ang plan ko is umalis nga. Pero, for sure, babalik ako. Ang long-term plan ko is bumalik as professor sa UP. Parang dumating na ako sa point na gusto ko pang matuto kasi outside the Philippines para mas madami yung natuturo ko. Pero in the end, yun yung goal ko eh. Kasi I want our own, baka ba ako nag-aaral, baka ako nagtrabaho. Di ba to help our country, to help the people. Ayun, aalis nga ako for a few years, pero for sure, ginagawa ko din talaga para mas madami yung contribute ko pagbalik.
Aalis for the benefit of the Filipino people. So, and Sir Darrell, ayun.
Okay, I choose to stay dito sa Pilipinas for two reasons. First is for my family. I want to be near the proximity with my family. So yun, first yun. Second is working in the Philippines, mostly magbe-benefit is also Philippines. So yun lang.
Ako ay tayo. How about you, Sir Norman? So why did you stay in the Philippines? Why did you prioritize serving the Filipino people or the Philippines itself?
When I graduated, it never really entered my mind to go abroad. Kasi para sa akin kasi if I know I can make it here, I'll just stay here. Okay? But for you guys, always remember that when you make a decision, you're actually doing a trade-off. Okay? So gusto mo, meron ka mga trade-off, meron ka mga gusto na hindi mo na magagawa. May ganun yan eh. Decision making is the management of trade-off. No? Now, for example, after graduation, you want to go abroad, the trade-off will be you will be far from your friends, your family, you will be out of your comfort zone. If you can manage that, then go ahead. Diba? So yun. Para sa akin, it's a trade-off. But for me personally, I never really thought of going abroad to earn a living because I know I can make it here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. May major takeaway na ako sa akin.
Thank you. Now, we have also another first year dito.
Okay.
Yan. So, kanina nakita niyo na siya eh. Ayan na siya.
Ay, ang family panalo na natalo. Ayan.
Hello po, I'm Paul Marco from PSIA 12. So, as part of the freshman batch, I am bombarded with a lot of ideas about what to expect as a future engineer. Though we concede to the fact that diversity as an IA is really good and it's amazing, but it could also cause dilemma on the track that we will pursue in the future. So, my question is, how did you know that you'll be pursuing the track that you're into right now? Is there a certain skill that you're good at, or are there other things that you consider?
What triggers you in really staying or going and staying in a certain profession or certain field of industrial engineering? So, Sir Norman, of production, what triggers you to go for production and stay in the production field of IT? Yes, sir. Sir Dario. Yes, Sir Dario, sorry. Sir Engineer Dario Prudential.
Ayan ha.
So, way back nung college ako, gagraduate pa lang ako sa university. Actually, hindi clear kung anong pupuntahan. Honestly, hindi talaga. So, hindi clear kung anong track ng industrial engineering ang kukunin ko. So, fortunately, nakakuha naman kami ng trabaho in Manila, nasa manufacturing industry. I learned a lot in manufacturing. But, siguro ang masasabi ko, ngayon kasi after 8 years, nag-change ako ng path. I just started my career in logistics. Wala pa akong 1 year sa logistics ngayon. So, I think ang masasabi ko lang is, kahit paano kasi yung pagsimulan mo, kahit hindi ka sure kung ano pagsimulan mo, pag nakikita mo kasi na you think hindi ka mag-improve dito, and you see something na mas mag-improve ka outside, grabe, whether 1 year ka pa lang or 10 years mo na ginawa yan, grabe, whether din na hindi siya nasa line mo. Actually, I have this friend, chemical engineer siya. So, noong una, nasa QA siya, nasa production, but after 8 years, 7 years, ngayon, ang linya niya na is hosting. So, different line. So, it's up to you. Kung saan mo makikita, na saan ka mag-excel. So, yun lang. Up to you.
Makita mo yung kaya ka?
Yes. So, goodbye diploma. So, how about Mr. Norman? So, why did you focus more on or more likely engage in supply chain management, given that we still have a lot of fields to focus on or to go with?
Nung gumraduate ako ng IU, wala naman supply chain management. Okay, so, I really, wala akong graduated, I look for an job, I got one. Okay, and along the way, I figure I was blessed enough na I was able to get jobs that will help me today. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I'm blessed because I ako, so nagamit yung IE ko and I was able to train my mind to become an IE since paano ka mag-isip, may sinasabi nila, paano ka mag-isip, efficiency, gano'n, etc. Step by step process. And then I got to hold jobs that helped me improve more on what I learned in college and my initial experience as an IE. And it developed in such a way na by the time na marami na ako experience, naging boom na yung supply chain management. Okay? And andun ako sa area na yon without really meaning to. Kasi yung career pathing ko, swak doon. So, minaximize ko yun. Okay? It's okay, and again, this is my, ano sa inyo, it is okay not to know where you are going now. Ang mahalaga ngayon is, you do something that you enjoy, you learn, okay? Be the best in what you do, okay? And then the money will come later. Tatandaan nyo lagi yun. Be the best in what you do. For example, graduate ka ng IE and you're in production, whether when you are in finance, you are in whatever field, no? Do your best. Because remember that what you do today will determine your tomorrow, okay? So if you become very good today at what you do, that will determine your tomorrow. So galingan nyo, the money will come later.
Thank you both. Work now, money later. Yes, thank you very much. So, for our last question from our passenger.
Unfortunately, guys, so maraming nakapila, pero tinext ako nung nandun sa harap, sabi isa na lang yun. Hindi ko nga alam yung nakadilaw, tapos merong bag sa harap. Ayan, so, siya yung,
Makaturo.
So,
Manunong ko naman dyan.
sorry, si Colleen, may kwan, siya yung sumunod na mag-aral.
Ayan.
Hi. So,
Okay, thank you very much. You can sit down. Kidding aside. What's your question, baby girl?
As an IT student po, you're being molded in a step-by-step process. Medyo technical po. Gusto ko lang po itanong, is there ever a vital part of being an IT or even a characteristic na hindi nyo po natutunan sa school, pero natutunan nyo po while working, na kailangan din pong ma-apply ng ibang ano?
Yun po. So, what are the things na parang kailangan namin makuha na this certain thing is talagang hindi naman actually natututunan sa apat na sulok ng classroom? Tama ba? Tama yun. Yes po. So what do you think are the lessons or the skills that we IE should have na hindi siya commonly makukuha lang sa four corners of the classroom? Sir Christian.
Of course, dealing with other people. Paglabas mo, you'll do projects with other people na hindi same na thinking mo, hindi IE, hindi same school, and possibly ko sa ibang bansa mga different culture. So yun, yung skill na understanding their perspective and interacting well, and kung forming a consensus, ano yung dapat ang gawin. So, ayun.
Dealing with people. How about you, Sir Norman?
Okay, so I was thinking, ilan nga ba yung in terms of presentation, ilan nga rin natutunan ako sa college. Unfortunately, siguro mga 10 to 20%. Totoo yun. And for the simple reason that during my time, the teachers that we had in college were not industrial engineers. So they were just fully reliant on books. Okay? So I hated that because I can read books. So why do I have to enroll if the teachers cannot teach me real industrial engineering based on what is happening outside? And I'm sorry for the teachers that are not industrial engineers, but that was what we had during my time when I was in college. So, and because of that, yung book, anyone can read, anyone can Google now. So para sa akin, you will actually learn from the experiences that are being told in stories by your instructor. So, in my case, I would say siguro mga 10 to 15% lang ang natutunan ko sa college. Everything that I know today I learn on the job.
So don't depend on the book, have it from the experience. So dealing with people, have it with experience. How about you, Sir Daryl?
Okay, I 100% agree kay Sir Edson. Kasi at first nung nag-graduate na ako ng Industrial Engineering, somehow proud. Kasi ang dami ko natutunan. I know na alam ko yung Industrial Engineering. But when you're exposed in the real world with the industry, doon mo ma-realize na ang daming constraint or mga factors na hindi mo malalaman unless you experience it. For example, if meron kang project na gusto mong implement sa grupo ng workers, but how you convince them paano siya gawin is a totally different skill. So, yun yung sa side ng mga manpower. But also in the side na management, how to convince them yung management for any project na ginawa ko is iba rin approach. So you learn more on the application side in the actual in the industry. So I think yun, mostly matututo lang ko sa industry how to deal with people and how to relate yung mga natutunan mo dun sa mga makakatrabaho mo, sa mga boss mo, sa team mo, or sa mga magiging teammates mo. And especially also, how to lead them. Thank you.
Don't just, alamin ko, apply it. So first, deal with people, learn from the experience, and then apply what you got. So thank you very much. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And now, sir, our engineers, so what are your final thoughts or words for our participants na nagbabalak na patuloy sa supply chain management, mag-focus sa academe, or talagang mag-focus na sa production? So let's have Sir Norman.
I consider myself blessed because I've been a supply chain management practitioner, but I also teach. And I do a lot of things actually, hindi ko like ikwento. I do a lot of things just because I believe na at whatever age you are in, you should be productive. Again, you should do things for others, okay, not just for yourself. So, for you guys who are just about to start, nasabi ko kanina, be the best in what you do. Be the best in the chosen career that you have today. Remember that the competition is yourself. Okay? Do not compare yourself with others. You are competing with yourself. Your goal is to be a better person today than yesterday, and you do that every day. Okay? So, magandang pakinggan niya, pero medyo mahirap gawin. Pero if you can do that, you will be successful, I tell you. Okay? So, yun lang yung part ko today.
Thank you very much, Sir Norman. So what are your last words for them, Engineer Kristen?
Actually, may iba kasi yung trap ko, diba? And curious na ako, ilan ba sa inyo yung kumbaga nakikita future as say teacher or a researcher? Meron ba? It doesn't call sa gusto mo.
Sino? Researcher? Dito?
Okay lang.
We have 1 year.
Actually, ayun, ako din naman, nung college ako, wala akong alam sa research, and ayoko ng research. Pero eventually kasi, na-realize ko, like when I go outside, ang daming problems na kailangan i-solve. Like, for example, when you go to school, nasakay ka ng jeep or ng plane, sobrang haba ng pila. So, ang daming ideas na pwede i-solve. So, yun actually yung value ng research, diba? You're free, or it's free, pero you can tackle as many ideas na gusto mo. And actually, yung benefit for me, as a faculty, as a professor and a researcher, I write papers and then I present to conferences in other countries, etc. And the ultimate benefit is I get other people's perspectives also. In general, in general. So, siguro ang final lang dito kung bakit ako napunta sa research and teaching. Mayroong quote, share ko lang sa inyo yung quote, makaalam nyo na rin. If I am an apple, and you have an apple, and binigay ko sa yung apple ko, binigay mo sa akin yung apple mo, what do we have? We both have one apple each. But, if I have an idea, and you have an idea, I I give you my idea and you give me your idea. Ano lang meron? We both have two ideas each. So ang point is, propagate ideas. Share share perspective, insights, thoughts. So baka rin magustuhan nyo yung skills or interact na research and teaching. So,
Thank you very much.
How about Engineer Darius?
So, as an industrial engineer, I trained on mostly on the improvement, so doing improvement. So, my take in here is, since we are doing mostly improvement, might as well do this for the benefit ng mas marami. Not just for some groups, but if we can do this improvement na makaka-benefit yung mas maraming tao, I think much better and mas fulfilling yung magiging actions natin. Yun lang.
Thank you very much. So, once again, passengers, our panelists for Safe so we have Engineer Norman Adriano,
Engineer Christian John Manuel Boygon,
and Engineer Darius Prudencio.
let's give them a round of applause. And now to award certificate, may we welcome the Executive Committee of this IES Summit 2019. Chairman, we have Alisa Gutierrez, and with the co-chairman, Dustin Fontanilla and Francia Bea Oliver. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Engineer Norman Adriano, Engineer Christian John Emmanuel Boygon, and Engineer Darius A. Prudencio for sharing his knowledge and insights during the panel discussion on 12th Industrial Engineering Assembly with the theme of Industrial Engineers Bridging with 7,641, given the 16th day of March in the year of our 2019 at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines Theater, College of Communications Building, NBC Compound, Santa Mesa, Manila. Signed by IESW Chairman Alisa Gutierrez, IESW Advisor Engineer Rosalita M. Volteo, and Chairperson IE Department Engineer Arvin J. Austria, Dean of College of Engineering, Dr. Romero S. Adams. Once again, passengers, let's give them a round of applause. Be cheerful.
And that concludes our Safe Are you ready for the last connecting flight of ISLD 2019? Handa na ba kayo? Gano'n kayo kahanda? Gano'n sila kahanda. So, Alexa, let's go to the last part of our ISLD 2019. Pero syempre, hindi na tayo yung magkakalit sa kanila. So, ngayon, mapapaalam muna kami. Again, tayo ang Alexa Romero. I am Liza Soberano. I am si Audrey, and we are your moderators for Safe Ketsu.
Thank you, our moderators, and Alexa. Okay.
Did you guys learn a lot from our panelists?
Oo, parang ang dami na natutunan, ang dami yung
Oo. And ang dami talagang natakal ng mga panelists natin na talaga namang ma-apply natin in the future as industrial engineers.
And of course, this is not especially for the first years. Alam namin yung struggle na parang ano ba yung industrial engineering? Ba't ako na nito? Pag may nagtanong sa akin naman yung IT, hindi ko ma-explain ng maayos. Ikaw naman ganong panahon.
Parang dati pag tinatanong ako, hindi ko siya masagot dati, pero habang tumatagal, mas lalo ko siya naiintindihan.
Yes, and that's good to know. And now we will proceed to the last segment of IESMB 2019.
This is our last destination.
Shizuoka is
fifth and final step of the Lean 5S method. It means sustain or sustain discipline.
It is a Japanese word that carries a wealth of cultural meaning, of discipline and training imposed upon a person. So yesterday we had a workshop, di ba, Leo?
And then of course, we announced kanina bago mag-lunch na yung mga presenters na mag-prepare sila ng ng 5-minute presentation of their workshop. Okay guys, ready na ba kayo? Ready ba kayo present? Okay.
So in the workshop proposal, yung priority namin in-announce kasi ayaw namin na malimit yung ideas nyo. And totoo nga naman na nakatulong yun kasi sobrang namin yung mga ideas na nakatulong para maganda pa yung proposal nyo, di ba?
Ang nangyari is nagbagawa lang sila ng ideas sa making of their proposal.
They were able to include yung mga loops, right?
Yes. And now we will now announce the criteria for judging for the sustainable development goals for the proposal. First, for content, we have relevance with an assigned sustainable goal, 20%.
Utilization of IT tools, 10%.
Writing mechanics, 10%.
Originality, 20%.
Clarity, 20%.
Presentation, 20%. With a total of 100%.
And these SDGs will be judged by our panelists. So, asan yung SDG number 1? No poverty! Make some noise!
Papatalo ba ang SDG number 2? Zero hunger!
Nasa naman ang pangbago ng SDG number 4, quality education!
Make some noise, SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation.
Marinig kayo, SDG number 7, affordable and clean energy!
Next up, we have SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth.
Nasa ng passengers ng SDG number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure! Malakas,
SDG number 11, sustainable cities and communities.
And of course, SDG number 10, reduce inequalities!
And lastly, we have SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production.
Okay, I think we are ready for the presentation. We will now proceed. Where is the presenter for SDG number 1? No poverty.
We now come up on stage.
We would like to remind the presenters that we will only have 5 minutes, and only be given 5 minutes.
Huwag muna kayo mag-agalaw, sir. May mga kuryente. Baka pupulit naman kayo mga gamit eh. Mamaya magputukan pa yan eh. Makasira pa ng buwan.
Okay, UL.
Amor Flores from BSIE 11.
Yes, sir. So far, kung sino naman yung experience nyo sa proposal pages?
Ayun, natuwa ako kasi ang dami kong na-meet na higher years na hindi ko alam na kaya na kami tinutulungan na kami actually. Kasi tulungan na nila kami sa mga ideas. Ayun. I'm sure kung sino man yung facilitate sa inyo, kinikilig na yun. Sino ba yan? Para nabigyan natin ng shoutout. Hindi ko po siya kilala, pero baka po siya. Oh! Guwapo daw. Mas wala daw dito. And, sa mga parts ng proposal na ginawa ninyo, ano yung pinaka... Agad ko na lang. Ay, hindi. Kasi discuss pa lang ito. Sorry. Overall, kamusta naman yung workshop? I mean, kamusta yung facilitators and yung naging experience niyo? Yung facilitate programs na pinapacilitate nila at karoon na nila kami naman. And of course, nag-cooperate talaga yung bawat members ng bawat group. Very, naman sila. Mga babae naman, very knowledgeable naman. So dahil dyan, expect na namin next year ito kayo na kayo. Oo naman po. So guys, post na kayo ng post para, and don't forget to use our official hashtag, hashtag 12IEA, hashtag ISLD2019, and hashtag ready for takeoff. So mag-checkahan lang ang file dito. So parang discussion kanina, sino yung pinaka-tumatak sa inyo? At bakit? Hindi ko talaga ako tumatanda ng pangalan. Pero I mean, alam feel. Shane, ako, hindi ko mag-doctor. Yung po ako sa doctor. Bakit? Wala, nagkaroon ko ako ng internet. Kasi actually, alam ko lang as a writer, yun lang, ikaw tayo, hindi ko naman alam na may ganito mga mga. So first time ko malaman yung ganun mga field. So feel ko yung production niya, sa tingin ko magiging yung field ko. Wow! So ngayon parang may eye-opener na lang sa yung gusto sa akin na pag-grato. Graduate ka na, di ba? So ano naman po ate, alam mo yung parang support mo na pwede mo industry.
Ate, huwag daw galawin. Sabi dito sa akin.
Opo, alam po namin bawal po galawin. Kaya nga po tinatanong ko namin kung pwede na magpa 5 minutes break po, tapos saka po tatanggalin.
Lahat, pati yung...
Ako naman personally,
kasi lahat ng speaker mo yan, papatay.
yung ako sa supply chain. Yung OJT na
Kailangan isang patayan lang po.
Lahat yan, kapag
Yes, no, kasi expose sa akin supply chain before. Of course, guys, may mga raffle pa po later. So, please stay tuned for that. Marami pa po kami ipaparaffle. So, wag po kayong malungkot, hindi po kayo natawag kanina sa mga raffle because we will be having more raffle later. Okay guys, so may signal sila, start na. We are from SDG number 1. So ang topic namin is about no poverty. Alam naman natin na yung poverty limited employment opportunities. So, ang title na is Ikaw Mabuhay, Generating Jobs Through Maximizing Philippine Coconut Industry. So, alam naman natin dito sa Pilipinas, we are second producing, second producers globally. Na tayo yung second na nagpo-produce na globally ng coconut. So, we have 3.1 million hectares. Tapos, so it means 68 out of 79 provinces meron coconut areas. But then, 25 to 33% lang yung nagagamit na coconut. So, we come up to an ideas na sa tingin namin makakatulong sa mga farmers at saka sa mga uneducated na youngest Filipino dito sa ating bansa. So, this research aims to generate jobs to help local farmers and uneducated Filipino workers by maximizing resources. So, dahil dito, may mga expertise, yung mga product na magagawa nila, may expertise na yung magagawa. So, ini-increase niya yung economic growth na dito sa Pilipinas.
And after defining and understanding the problem, we came up the action plan. Action plan is developing a legal policy that will facilitate the generation of jobs through coconut industry. Another one is conducting research that will help and proponent of its research to propose an attainable inclusion to legal policy. And the creation and development of petition that aims to maximize the Philippine coconut industry across the Philippines, especially in the poorest area of the country. This petition and research will be submitted to government for further evaluation and will be subjected to continuous enhancement. Last one is starting informative campaign to the local communities of NGOs to support this Ikokobu.
So, isa-summarize lang namin na, yun nga, itong program na to, parang yung aim nito is to lessen the unemployed workers dito. Siyempre, alam naman natin na napakadaming gamit ng coconut dito sa Pilipinas. But then, napaka-konti lang percentage ng gamit na sa coconut, which is hindi alam ng iba na napakadaming gamit ng coconut. And coconut is also exported in different countries, especially in other countries that coconut is one of their most coconut is one of their number one. Alright, so I think they are done. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much, SDG number 1, no poverty.
Okay, let us now visit to the presenters of SDG number 2, Zero Hunger.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. We are from SDG number 2, Zero Hunger. So the title of our proposal is about food accessibility and sustainability, a proposal content to optimize the demand and supply of agricultural commodity goods in the Philippines. For the background of the study, the proponents of the study consider the past events that greatly affected the agricultural food security in our country. The shortage of goods resulted to hunger, and the surplus of goods resulted to waste. Also, there is an inefficient logistic network of goods in the Philippines. This urges the proponents to focus on this subject matter.
So for the statement of the problem, given those events happened in our country for the past 3 decades, the Philippines has an unstable food supply which is relatively lower than the world's average. The Philippines supply can only secure half of the population's demand, while the another 50% only relies on the imported goods.
For the objectives of the study, the main objective is to propose an optimal solution to secure food supply in the Philippines. The sub-objective is to mitigate the risk of having a shortage or surplus of agricultural commodity goods in the Philippines.
For the scope and limitation, this study only focuses on the Philippines shortage and surplus of supply of agricultural commodities given that the demand is high. So for the recommendations, to execute this suggested solution, we have to collaborate with our local government to address the problem in the shortage and surplus of agricultural commodities. So first, we have to conduct researches and project feasibility studies with regards on the technological advancement on agriculture. Second, adopt new technology. So before adopting new technology, we must have an extensive researches. In Japan, they have this facility which enables them to plant seeds without considering the season of the crop. So we can adopt that kind of technology. Third, have a proper agrarian land reform. This urges the national government to come up with a systematic land distribution among farmers. Fourth is the systematic risk management. This analyzes and mitigates the risk of having weather shifts such as El Nino and La Nina to prevent the shortage and surplus of goods from happening again, or at least lessen the severity of that event. So for the last recommendation is an effective agricultural planning which covers the crop rotation, scheduling when considering the seasonality and the logistics of agricultural commodity goods in all areas in the Philippines.
For the conclusions, the following conclusions are drawn by the researchers. First is the Philippines has a lack of agricultural technology. Second is the lack of funding from the national government. Third is corruption of funds. Fourth is inefficient land reform. Fifth is inadequate agricultural researches. And lastly, ineffective planning on demand and supply of agricultural commodity goods in the Philippines. For the action plans, as students, first, we should avoid excessive consumption of food because this leads to food waste. And annually, the Philippines has a ton of food waste. So, next is to raise awareness on food security, which focuses on the demand and supply of agricultural goods through social media platforms and partnerships with non-government organizations. Lastly is to conduct researches and project feasibility studies that would create an impact to address the problem of food security in the country. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, activity number 2. And of course, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Engineer Christopher Sierra. And he will be for the information of everyone, he will be judging today's SDG proposal. Of course, Sion. Next, we have the presenters of SDG number 4, Quality Education.
The title is Focus Quality on the Learning Center most importantly, today that the allocated educational budget coming from the government is diminishing in the past year. So, according to the national budget, yung nabigay na budget for education is bumaba nga this year. So, for the statement of the problem, it is to satisfy the needs of the Filipino students for the proper educational facilities with the limited budget allocation coming from the government. So, ang problem kasi namin, kasolusyonan dito, kahit limited yung facilities and also na limited yung budget, ano yung pwede natin gawin na ma-attain pa rin yung quality education?
Parang sa bilang estudyante, ano po yung, since tayo po yung nag-benefit ng mga facilities, tayo yung mga gumagamit, why tumulong po tayo sa ibang paaral, paano po natin ma-improve yung facilities na meron na po tayo?
Yung objective is to enhance the facilities in spite of insufficient budget. And for the support and education, to enhance the facilities in state universities and not exceeding with the law.
And our involvement of the school activities that can generate generate funds. So, kagaya dito, yung mga generating funds is kagaya po ng ibang agricultural sources. So, instead of you are learning po na you are planting and then some crops, why not yung pagtatanim po ng crops ibenta niyo po? And then after that, yung magiging funds po doon is for the school, for the activities. So that matutulungan po natin, hindi lang po government. So kung parang hindi po tayo sa ating government. Kasi hindi naman po natin government, hindi naman po natin. Nabibili po ng gobyerno doon para sa atin. Hindi po ang students po tayo.
For the and also the partnership with the company, if ever mabibigyan pa rin chance na expand yung proposal, yun yung pwede gawin ng next proposal. The conclusion, people and government should work together. People should not depend on the government only. So, we need to attain the quality education. So, we must do our job to maintain it within ourselves. Kung pwede tayo makapag-generate ng funds within ourselves na hindi tumaasa sa government. And students should initiate a learning application in their respective fields by using their skills and generating funds to help them improve student life.
Sa action plan po, application of activities that can produce profit. Para example po nga po dito yung kanina ko sinabi na getting jobs based on activities related in agricultural studies. And then number 2 is find investors and the students to the regular students to the company. So yung parang hanap po tayo ng isang company po na magpaprovide po ng kagaya po sa isang course students sa inyo na nalaman po namin na nag-render po sila ng service sa Hyundai. So, yung unit po ay magpaprovide po ng facilities and then yung mga students po ay gumagawa po ng application for the company. So, parang mag-give and take lang po. Yung company is magpaprovide po ng facilities then ang mag-benefit po yung students will nangyayari po. Walang nangyayari po. Kailangan po yung facilities at the same time. And then,
para ma-generate pa yung fund at mas-inipot yung pera within the university. Yun lang.
Thank you very much, SPG number 4. Next up, we have SPG number 6, Clean Water and Sanitation.
So, good afternoon everyone. I'm Marco and I'm Luis.
I'm Emmanuel.
And we are from the group of SDG number 6.
lack of access in clean water is one of the problems which rural places is facing off. According to municipal health workers, access of clean water and sanitation. Then, the National Anti-Poverty Commission of NAPC stated that 84% of the residents in Patnanugan Island of Quezon had no primary source of clean water. In order to solve the problem, the researchers proposed a project which is named Malunggay 6, a cheap and natural water purifier to have the clean water that they can use for their daily life. The project is about using Malunggay 6 as water purifier. Studies, we have proven the studies that Malunggay is not toxic and has antimicrobial properties, which is a big help to purify the water and make it soft to drink by the
So imagine we are living in a planet that consists of 75% water, but there are 600 million of people na walang access sa safe water, and there are people na nagkakasakit, and there are children that are dying. So our team actually pick a location here in the Philippines para matulungan kung magagawa namin to. And that location is the Patnanugan, Quezon Province, where actually, according to National Anti-Poverty Commission, there are 84% ng mga tao na walang access to tubig. So, ano nga ba yung proposal namin? So, did you know na yung malunggay seed alone can purify the water? Diba? Ang malunggay seed can act as a coagulant with the process of coagulation, where yung seed ng malunggay is dudurugin and for drying, and ihahalo lang siya din sa tubig, and all the dumi nung water is may stay sa baba, and using a cloth for filtration, pwede nang magiging potable na yung water. And according to study and researches, yung buto ng malunggay, we also focus dun sa dalawang factor for the cleanliness of water. Yun yung turbidity, yung kalinawan ng tubig, and yung pH level, where study shows na 98.6 ng tubig is napapalinaw gamit yung buto, and na-attain ng 6.20 yung pH level, where ang required for drinking water is 6 to 8.5, and natin yung 6.20. And using that, dun sa community, gagamitin namin yung malunggay para mapalinis yung water, and we are aiming for ang plantation ng malunggay seeds. So ang first action namin is seminars para sa mga tao sa community, para ma-inform namin sila kung paano ba nag-work yung malunggay. And that's all po.
Thank you.
Thank you, SPC number 6. May we call on SPC number 7, Affordable and Clean Energy.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
So, we are from SDG number 7, which is entitled Access to Affordable and Clean Energy. So, one of the problems in SDG number 7 is that our society is greatly dependent on the combustion of fossil fuels, especially the coal, as a major source of our electricity. And when we burn coal, what will happen is that there's an increasing great amount of carbon dioxide are being expelled in our atmosphere that contributes to climate change and therefore harm our environment which is the thing that we don't want the future generation to experience and suffer. And that is the reason why, because of this problem, we arrived in a proposal which is entitled Utility of Salt Water in Generating Electricity in Household Areas in the Philippines. So, Jen, can you explain to them how this proposal works?
Thank you, Juan. So, the process is simple. Salt water is a solution of sodium chloride and water, simply a solution of it. And the first process we need to do is the nuclear fission, the separation of sodium and chlorine from water. So, to separate sodium and chlorine, we have to use electrodes that was developed by Stanford University that separates sodium and chlorine and create electrolysis. In that case, we can produce more electricity. At the same time, we have a byproduct of a fresh water and a salt. So three byproducts: salt, water, fresh water, and electricity. That's all.
And another good thing about this study is that it is feasible. It was proven in other countries that the salt water can really produce an electricity through series of processes. And another good thing about this proposal is that first, it is affordable. We don't have to spend too much money and waste money for this proposal. Second is that it ensures the safety. Unlike the nuclear power plant that uses harmful chemicals when malfunction happens. When malfunction happens. So it guarantees the safety of the people. And third, it will lessen our electrical bills. Of course, this is the thing that we all want to happen. And when we lessen our electrical bills, it means that we are already lessening our dependence to fossil fuels. And after that, we will definitely achieve or realize that we are on the right path towards achieving the SDG number 7. And this proposal is more about the innovation side. Because we believe that PUPNs are not just PUPNs at the end of the day. We are the future leaders and innovators of our society that doesn't just focus on economic prosperity, but also providing solutions in environmental problems. Because we, in SDG number 7, we believe that doing something is better than doing nothing. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have SDG number 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth.
Hello, so good afternoon everyone. My name is Michaela Sereno from BSIE 4B. And I am Lucy Rivera from BSIE 14. So we are here to present to you monitoring system can help the local workers and consumers to be aware of the agricultural state of the region in terms of its supply and demand, and how this affects the selling and buying price per agricultural product.
With that, we give to you Corn Out, a crop online review on native lands. Thank you.
We would like to acknowledge the presence of Engineer Joseph Vincent. Hi, sir. Next, we have the representatives of SDG number 9, Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. Good afternoon, Industrial Engineering! So guys, mga lahat, gusto namin tanungin, sino dito yung mga binabaha kapag ibagyo?
Sino naman dito yung nakaka-thinking na water interaction?
Nakalimutan na ba kayo guys? Ayun, in fact, Philippines is experiencing 20, an average of 20 cyclones every year. And lately, 200 barangays here in Metro Manila is experiencing water shortage. And we conclude that water can distract and at the same time, it can give life. So that's why we are proposing city basin, an effective way. Sorry guys. Okay, take two. One, city basin, an effective way of utilizing rainwater for solving water shortage. So, partner, bakit ba natin pinupose yung project na to?
During water shortage or during storm season, maraming cities yung alamang binabaha, especially low-lying areas. And dito, yung mga agricultural areas natin, nasisira yung crops nila. And during summer season naman, nakaka-experience yung mga agricultural areas natin ng water shortage. So, we brought up na during rainy season, bakit itong flood na to, gawin na tayo, bakit stagnant na lang siya. So, nag-isip kami, nag-innovate kami, naisip namin na pakinabangan natin itong flood waters natin. So, partner, ano bang objective natin para sa atin?
So, what's our objective? First is to focus on solving issues on water shortage and help in self-sufficient water supply. And second is to lessen the negative effects of flood. And lastly, to utilize the use of land in a city and community using the ground as a city basin. So, may tanong ulit ako, paano naman nag-prefer yung project natin?
Sa ating proposal, magkakaroon tayo ng buhay ng pagpasok ng water. Kaya pwede ito sa taas ng ating roof sa mga bahay natin. Na kung saan itong mga rainwater na ito ay papasok doon sa mga tubo. At itong tubo na ito ay mayroong mga filtering machine na papunta sa basin natin. At yung isang way is may install tayo ng parang butas sa mga ground area na kung saan naapektuhan ng mga flood areas. Dito papasok yung mga flood waters at nagaya din sa roof. Meron din itong mga filtering machines sa tubo at papunta ito dun sa basin natin.
So ayun partner, explain ko lang din yung concept ng RINA, regrade value, para makakreate tayo ng flow in order to achieve excellence.
So partner, how will this proposal be helpful sa ating SDG natin?
Syempre, we as IT, we are focused in innovation, industry, and infrastructure. We are building something that can benefit the people, and we will sustain our resources at the same time. Not just for the value of today's people, but for the betterment of the future. Because we believe that we can make it happen. Thank you.
May we call on SCG number 10, Reduce Inequalities.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am the reporter for the SDG number 10, which is Reduce Inequalities, which will pretty much focus on the inequalities between PWDs. Since it's pretty common to see that the workforce today is pretty much filled with only physically capable people. You never see blind people in common normal jobs. You don't see them in pretty much in your everyday life. And this idea that we have that giving chances for PWDs to have sustainable jobs is because they are similar capable beings. You can think of it. Just because only that they lose their sight or even just lose their hearing, that doesn't mean that they can't go do anything else other than sit down and just wait for their time to come. This capabilities can be even, taught on to be an extra challenge for them. So our recommendation for this thing is to pretty much, for the employers, is to focus on skills other than the physical capability or the physical appearance of the person. Because in the business world, pretty much skills is pretty much important next to your attitude in the job industry. Next is to further implement the Magna Carta for the PWDs, which is, I don't know if you even heard about the Magna Carta because it's really not that being talked about. And allow a wider range of jobs for PWDs. Since you can only see PWDs more commonly in, let's give an example of blind people who are doing massage. That can be a good example of it. And increase the employment rates of PWDs for the employers to have more workforce in their companies. So, in conclusion, there should be an equal treatment between physically capable people and non-physically capable people, since they are still human. There are no difference between them. They might lost a limb, they might lost a physical capability, but they are still capable. With enough training and with enough assistance from the government, they can still be part of our workforce. And the plan for that is to have training facilities for this PWDs for clerical work. We can put blind people, put them in the training grounds for, let's say, common clerical grounds, and have very specific computer equipment for them, which are, let's say, engraved in braille, so they can see how they type. For blind people, for deaf people and mute people, they can have interpreters while they work, or they will not only be the one to cope up with them in order for them to work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SDG number 10. Now we call on the presenters of SDG number 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities.
So distinguished guests, cabin crews, and dear passengers, good afternoon. I'm Lester, SDG 11's speaker, which is the Sustainable Cities and Communities. The title of our research is Creating Alternative Solutions in the Establishment of the Bulacan International Airport to Protect the Land Rights of the Indigenous and Local People in Bulacan, Bulacan.
First, to give you insight regarding the SDG 11, it focuses on having an inclusive, healthy, resilient, mobility, circular, smart, design, low carbon, and compact green city. So as an industrial engineer, we must contribute for us to achieve this sustainable community. So we come up with this research proposal which aiming to have a maintained community which considers not just the betterment but also the right of every individual, especially the poor. So any one of you know the construction of the proposed 735.6 billion pesos Bulacan International Airport? Anyone?
None.
So kung papakinggan siya, it is great, right? But we didn't know the consequences that is hiding within this project. Hindi natin nakikita yung kaakibat na kinakaharap ng mga nasa laylayan. So, the Sen International Airport is to propose to establish on Bulacan, where large number of diverse families are living. The project of the San Miguel Corporation will result to the eviction of the local and indigenous people in that area, since thousands of hectares of land is required to build an airport. So they will lose their livelihood as well. They'll be transferred to other environment that is not suited for what they have practiced. So we come up with the objective in providing alternative solution in the establishment of this airport for us to protect and enhance the regulation addressing to their land rights. So here's our proposed action plan. So we, the researchers, aiming for an inclusive and resilient proposed action plan that will consider that all the aspects that might affect them. So after the comprehensive research and discussion, the following proposal plan generated. First, enhancement of regulation addressing to the land rights of indigenous and local people. Under this proposal is the proper knowledge and learning about their land rights through seminars and symposiums. Next is the strong campaign for their land rights. Second, improvement of the existing system and processes in airports. This includes the improvement of facilities, organized process efficiency of passengers for their transaction, hiring more employees and staff. Next, focusing on projects that will generate jobs for the local people that will help to sustain their everyday life. And last, projects that will protect the environment and other related aspects, such as tree planting and cleaning of the rivers and other bodies of water. So we believe that the solution of this problem is rehabilitation than reclamation. So building infrastructure is not always necessary. We, as IEs, our job is to make things better, make things easier. So hindi natin kailangan gawa ng gawa kung marami namang napipinsala, di ba? So we must look for a wider scope, not just for the economic growth. So every effort counts. For us to reach this 7,641, we should extract those efforts from every one of us. So, because as what Miss Girl 2017 Karen Nebraska said, our micro efforts will have a macro effect to save our home, our planet, our earth, to be a better place to live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, SDG number 11. And now we have the last one. We have SDG number 12, responsible for settlement and construction.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Megan Ruel Alpastanes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aileen Sandria Balato.
So we are under the Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is the responsible consumption and production. So responsible consumption and production discusses about how are we going to utilize our resources and how are we gonna manage our waste as we consume different products. But before we start elaborating our product, let me just ask you a few questions. If you have this small amount at home, okay, who among you uses personal care products such as shampoo and soap conditioner? Please raise your hand. Not expected. Next, how about those who have condiments at home? Next is, who among you uses detergent and dish soap in their houses? Okay. With that, we can easily describe that we people are showing patronage towards these products that comes in detailed packaging. On a larger perspective, knowing that these products are consumable in just a short span of time, and considering that in Philippines we have an estimate population of 110 million Filipinos, it would really cause us a massive proliferation in waste and garbage. Also, we are entitled as a sachet economy, and we want to break that norm. We want to break the norm of using sachets, so we should start caring for the environment, and we should and because we never know until when our planet can sustain its resources for us, so we generate solutions to that.
So with the problem that we have recently discussed, it will be a great honor for us to introduce our proposal, which is fill-in refilling station installed in supermarkets. So what is fill-in? It is a refilling station that can be found in the section of our local supermarkets here in the Philippines. This allows us, shoppers, to avail our daily products without sacrificing our environment and producing much waste every day. Don't worry, you can also buy your favorite products from us. We will just offer a station where you can find them in dispensers and avail them in certain quantities according to your budget. Our proposal aims to lessen the waste from packaging of the product. Second is to promote a responsible way of product consumption. And lastly, as an ID, of course, we would want to eliminate the time used in the packaging process. Instead of packing it into smaller sachets, it will be easier for the manufacturing firms to pack and transport the product. So it will be easier for the logistics department, warehouse, inventory. Refilling station will be also offering containers for you to store the product you want to avail. For those who are financially challenged, they can still avail products at the station by bringing their own containers.
So I know that some of you might think that our methodology in selling the product might be hassle, but let me just, because I know that you would say that I could just buy a packaged product already than bring my own container, but let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, that success and progress that starts with little sacrifices.
That's all, thank you.
Thank you, SDG number 12, for that wonderful presentation. Grabe yung presentations ng participants natin ngayon. And within the span of 5 hours, they were able to fit substantial proposals to their respective SDGs.
Yes, na talaga namang ikaw presenting their proposal to stage is very motivating and humbling at the same time.
So guys, tingin nyo mananalo ba yung SDG nyo? Ayan, so before we proceed to the awarding of the top SDG proposals, gusto nyo ba ng raffle?
It's raffle time!
Okay. So, to present, we have our chief cabinet crews for raffles, Mr. Alan Ray C. Hardinero, Mr. John J. Bromillo, and Mr. Anthony Mactabo.
Okay, so ito na yung last segment ng ating grapple. So,
Yes.
itatago na natin ang ating mga papremyo.
Ibibigay na namin lahat. Lahat. Pati kami.
Pati kami ko ninyo na. Sige.
Okay na. High-blood naman tayo.
Okay, pala ko nyo na. This price is probably Okay, so, baga natin patagalin, tawagin na natin si Dulce and the Besties!
Let's go, Dulce. Ayaw mo. Oray sa ako pinutigil.
Para mas gusto ko lang yung meeting doon.
Okay lang, basta ito yung dito sa akin. Okay, sige.
Okay, sige. For this, sige, pakita natin yung laman ng loot bag. For this raffle, ang mapapanalo na nyo ay piano
Yan ang piano.
blue. Surprise na lang kita ba?
Parang UTI makukuha.
Hindi, okay, sige. Simulan natin sa first year.
Wala pa ako.
Ano daw gagawin? Bibilutin mo yung ball.
Ipasin mo ang gagawin ko siya.
Stop.
Sabi mo sa...
Sabi mo stop.
John Paul Cristóbal!
8 years. Also,
Okay, yan po. Ito nga ba? Ayan. So, wait lang this year, no? Okay, so, okay na this year. So, first years natin. Okay.
Dapat ang sabi sa kuya.
Kasi yan lang ng ano,
bakit papa?
raffle prizes.
Huwag na siya na yung post na ng sex bomb. Sex bomb siya dito.
Okay na ba yung first year? Raffle?
Okay na, okay.
Ayan yung first year. Wait ang first year, guys. Hello.
Yung first year.
First year. First year.
Saan ang laki yung pangalan ko?
Ayaw ko ba? Sayo mo na si Mark kapag na ayaw. Mark! Sayo ako.
Okay, ayan na. Wait lang. Pili na natin yung first year. At excited na sila sa prize nila. Ayan. Okay, tama stage. Second year naman. Okay, okay, second